A huge honor ahead for me today when speakerphone is inappropriate. The Miami Heat. What's wrong with them? Scoring in the playoffs. He just won't stop. And a dig deep into Gordon Hayward. It's all up on this edition of Tip Off. Bum, 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 bum. Why did I say I would take trade requests? Boom, 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 boom. A weak moment on vocal forever will change my life. Boom, 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 boom. So yesterday we did the vocal chat. I hope you've checked it out. And on the vocal chat, I said that every day I would take a trade request. Did I really say I would do that? I'm not sure I got one today. I looked down my Twitter timeline. Didn't really seem as though anyone said they would do that. But I'll play around a little bit. I kind of keep, I got the can we get James Harden, which is decided is the new version of the can we get Akeem Olajuwon, which used to be the latest on all of those. So I didn't really get one, but I will. If you want to play around with the trade machine, do things like that, and send them to me, I will try to figure out who would say no. How's that? I will do it. What a great Memorial Day weekend we're going to have. Rain. I'm hoping it breaks because Miller Motorsports has the incredible event, Superbike Memorial Day weekend. I've been every year. It's incredibly awesome. If you get a chance to go out, you should this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds. There's nothing like standing. If you go sit out in the far straightaway where all the trucks and hot ladies and smoking hot ladies. I've looked at the numbers. 89% of the guys are watching this. For the 11% that are women, I apologize. But they're still hot, and you got to respect that. Like, there's nothing like the women around a motorcycle race. Like, it's the biggest thing in Europe. Those are the sex symbols of Europe, and so they're all out here, and it's pretty crazy. They have no clothes on. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, how easily we get distracted. If you come into Miller Motorsports Park, the right-hand side is where all of the trucks are and the shows and the various vendors and where the go-kart races are. And you go all the way down, get to the end of that straightaway. The bikers are coming down at close to 200 miles an hour. They're in their thing, and they lift up because they can't really hit their brakes because they're going so fast, literally to get the air inside of them. And if you watch closely, the tires of the bike come off the ground. It's completely insane. So today we're having mini go-kart races, and I am teamed up with Ben Bostrom, who wears number 23 for the Jordan Suzuki team, and then Superbike. And then I'm just really honored is that Thomas Hooley of Tooele, Utah, who's part of the Army National Guard, is riding with us. And then I don't know who the third person is. I'm not great on the kart racing either, so I hope these guys don't mind. It's raining, so I don't know what's going to happen. But to be with these guys, somebody as good as Ben Bostrom, and then also to be a part of somebody who's committed his time to our country, it's a great honor for me to get to be with those two guys. So hopefully we'll have a good time. If you get a chance, go out this weekend and do it. I've got to tell this story. Like last night was driving us crazy, and so I finally just said to my wife, well, it's going to make the podcast, which my wife has never heard. So she's like, what? And I was like, don't worry about it. So my wife and I went out for dinner last night up in Park City, and we don't, like, when the winter hits, I'm never home, and we never go out, so it's kind of like this is our date. We get to redo date night and go out. And by the way, here's a little secret. The best dining deals in Salt Lake in the summer are in Park City, Utah. If you go get the Park Record newspaper, almost every restaurant has 2-for-1 entrees. If you're a non-drinker like me, that makes for a very relatively inexpensive evening. So last night we went out to this restaurant that was great. It's called Purple Sage. It's on Main Street, so if you ever get a chance, and they have 2-for-1 coupons in the Park Record. Look at all the money I just saved you. Drive on up. Nice romantic evening. Make sure the weather's a little better. And then get your 2-for-1 coupons. So anyway, we were there. There were only 2 couples in the restaurant. Slow time of year. That's why we're back out. We don't go out when it's busy, and we don't go out when it's full price. And we're in the middle of dinner, and all of a sudden, this guy, and the table's like right across from us, takes his cell phone out, calls his buddy on speakerphone. On speakerphone. There's 6 of us in the restaurant, 3 at his table, 2, and then the waiter and the owner. And this Yahoo is deciding to bring his speakerphone out. And he's calling, hey, come on, why don't you come out to Park City for the weekend? Our house is great. I'm like, do you just want us? Like, dude, you're obviously the most self-absorbed human being on the face of the planet, and I would know one. But there's only us. We don't give a crap about you. If the restaurant was like full and loud, maybe. If the restaurant was full and you were trying to impress. So he's like, come on. Well, the flights are too much. I looked into it. Like, you can hear this whole conversation. The other guy's like, well, they're $340. Hey, you know what? I'll give you $100 for your flight. Like, oh, you just are just such a. Ah! I mean, it was loud. It went on for like 10 minutes. Finally, there was a younger daughter, I'm guessing, probably around 20 at the table. She's like, Dad, why don't you just put that to your ear? I can't imagine why people who live in Park City have a reputation for being self-absorbed. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Like in the middle of a restaurant, speakerphone it. Speakerphone man. It's going to be a new phrase for us. So anyway, it was a fun night. That actually was fun. The classic moment was, the hot romantic night with my wife, so I went to the grocery store afterwards. And we're coming out. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. If you're easily offended, turn this off. So anyway, we're about to turn out onto Kearns Boulevard to go home. And I turn to my left, and there's this woman. It's cold out. In shorts, a tank top. Hard to tell whether she's pregnant or so fat. The tank top is too short. It's rolling out over her shorts. I think she was on drugs. She had tats on her legs. Not that that makes her on drugs. I'm just kind of giving you the visual. Like little like barbed wire tats. And she's kind of talking to herself. But the fat's just rolling out. And I look left because I got to turn left. And I look left and she's there. And both of us are like, oh, ow, oh. She's pretty far away. She's like walking towards. And like a minute later, 30 seconds later, my wife's like, why didn't you go? I was like, because I couldn't look left again. I just couldn't look left again, and I couldn't check if there's a car because I thought I might have to see that again. And I thought it was worth just letting some cars go by without having to see that again. Oh, my gosh. It was awful. All right. I have a thought on the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade and LeBron are fabulous right now. They won. They did what they're supposed to. Indiana's really good. Indiana had the 5th best record in the NBA, so the fact that the series won 6 and they won 2 games in Indiana was actually very impressive. Very rare that you win series by 4 or 5 against really good teams. But here's the one thought I have on Miami. It's not going to matter because they're going to go to the finals for the 2nd straight year. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to beat Oklahoma City or San Antonio unless Bosch comes back, and then maybe it's a little different. But my thought on it is, here's my feeling. I've had this about Miami all year. They'll play this stretch of basketball where their defense is unreal. They're tenacious. They're denying. You can't get anything off. You're struggling with everything. It's miserable out there for the other team. LeBron and Wade make a bunch of plays, and you feel as though they're up 14. And you look up and they're up 2. And to me, that's a little disconcerting. I kind of like the San Antonio or the Oklahoma City team who suddenly is up 14 without you noticing. I don't have any scientific or major breakdown here, but that's the one thing that I kind of feel like is wrong with Miami right now is when they are on fire and playing at what seems to be their highest level, they're not stretching out from teams the way I would have thought they would have. I will say, if you watch that game, and this is why you really have to have the star, why the Derrick Rose has to play for Chicago, why LeBron and Wade win, why Durant and Westbrook play, and where I think it's going to be a little interesting on how San Antonio gets through this. This would be my one concern on San Antonio. It is impossible to score at this point of the playoffs. When you're watching Boston-Philly Saturday night, it's going to be like 70-60 because guys know your plays. They're playing so hard defensively. If you just can't beat people one-on-one, you can't score. I mean, if you go back to some of the great Jazz teams, there would be playoff games. They'd score 70 points. because they didn't have great one-on-one players and they just ran Jerry's system, and it worked some of the time. But on other nights when the defense was just better, it didn't work. And if you watch Miami, they just went to a huge amount of LeBron and Wade isolation because, frankly, at this point in the playoffs, you can't run anything else. I thought Spoelstra did a great job. They ran some pick and roll early where my Indiana was really clogging up the middle early in the game, and so they'd run the pick and roll with Joel Anthony, and they were trying to keep Hibbert out of it. So they'd bring the guard from the far side to cut off the penetration, forcing the ball out of that guy's hands and kicking it to Chalmers or kicking it to Battier. And then Spoelstra made an adjustment where he brought another big, or he brought a Battier up to that spot instead of Chalmers, which instead of having George Hill digging in, you now have David West digging in. He's not as good, and suddenly Wade gets free. And then the second adjustment he made that got Wade going is he ran LeBron off that pick and roll, and instead of having Chalmers or Battier being the guy they were leaving, he put Wade there. So they were pulling off Wade to go cut off LeBron's penetration. Then Wade got the ball; he already had an advantage because his defender hadn't gotten back yet. I thought Spoelstra made some really nice adjustments, and that's to some extent all you can do in the playoffs adjustment-wise is just move where your guys are. They know your plays. You just have to position them differently based on what they are doing. So I thought, in that sense, I thought it was interesting, but that just shows you got to have guys who can make plays. I mean, you got to have the guy. You can be really good, you can compete, you can do a lot of things, but Philadelphia is not winning a championship. Boston's not winning a championship without having guys that can make plays the way LeBron and Wade are, because as the series goes longer and longer and longer, it becomes almost impossible to score. By the way, the Boston game 7 against Philadelphia brings back one of the great sports memories I've ever had. I thought it was, when you see great fan bases. I think this was probably 82, 83. I'd have to go check. But Philadelphia's playing game 7 against Boston, and Philly's going to win game 7 in Boston, which is hard to believe actually happened. And if I remember the story correctly, and I remember kind of watching it, the crowd starts to chant. It's Eastern Conference Finals, and the crowd starts to chant, "Beat LA, beat LA." Okay, we've lost this. Now you go get them. I thought that was just kind of a great moment. We'll see. Has it become beat the Heat if Philadelphia is going to win? I don't think Philadelphia is going to win. But we'll see. A few other notes for you. About 10:30 today, I will post Gordon Hayward via Synergy Sports. I did put up that Gordon's had a hard time defensively guarding the three. I already tweeted that today. There's some interesting things on Gordon. I think this season review's done a really nice job on Al. To see who he is as a player. Paul, I thought was very complimentary. Gordon, where he really is, some of our excessive expectations maybe put to the side a little bit. The general take on Gordon is that as of this time, he's not elite at anything offensively. He's a very good player. He helps you. He does things well for you. But he's not elite at anything. He's not a very good isolation player. He turns it over too much on the pick-and-roll ball handling. He's got to find something he's very, very good at offensively. His spot-up shooting's only okay. He was 0 for 10 on pick-and-roll, step-back threes. He's got to find somewhere in this game where he's got something that makes teams have to adjust to him. And he doesn't have that yet. That's what jumped out at me on Synergy with his offense. I'll look at some more things about how the team he impacted when he's on the floor and the others. Final note for you, and I don't want to go back to this, but for those of you that diehards, Raja did an interview with Dan Lebitard. I'm sure it'll get some run around here. Somebody will pick it up because we have a bunch of guys who do great work. I can't get into it. But, and I like Raj. I play 18 holes of golf with him tomorrow. I don't even know how to say this. Don't go on his side. Don't doubt me. The whole issues, they're going on. You don't want to be on that side. Okay? Trust me. Don't doubt it. Have a good day.